Just like most Nigerians, I grew up in a very religious household, in a very religious church where we have our mode of dressing, the way we communicate, the way we sing our songs. It's a Pentecostal church, but it's not like the church is very, very reserved, very extremely reserved. If you see someone from that church, you could literally say, are you from this church? Because of the way they look, possibly the way they talk. Yeah. So actually it was a very, very religious church. And I grew up in an environment where we were taught the Bible, where when you say things like do not lie, people say those things like, oh, do not lie, but then they end up lying. But in that church, when they say do not lie, from the way I understood it while growing up, it was do not lie. Do not steal, do not steal. It wasn't a matter of, oh, take it, hide it, talk about it. No. And if you do something like that, you have to report yourself. So I grew up in that very strict religious background, and it sounds weird when you say strict religious background, but it was actually a foundation for me in which I am immensely grateful to God for the opportunity to actually be from that background, right? So I could say I knew myself as a Christian because I grew up in a religious background. Yep, I've been a Christian. But knowing Jesus for myself, knowing Jesus in a sense that, okay, Jesus, I want you to be my God. I want you to direct me. I want to live my life for you. That was a personal encounter altogether. Because I've always known Jesus, I've always prayed, I always do my devotion right from when I can remember. My secondary school, I have my Bible beside me. I have my devotional. I read the Bible, I pray, and so I could say that I've been a very good Christian. But over the years, it comes a time in which you have to actually begin to see, oh, who is this Jesus? Who is this guy that I've been groomed to love, to know? Who is he? How can I become a better Christian? So that's what happened in my case, right? And this was when I was in university, my first year, 100 level, right? So I had this roommate, and both of them were going to this church, right? They just converted to Christianity. So they were going to this church, and they were always on fire for Jesus. Oh, always inviting me. Oh, come to my church. There's a program. Oh, come to this. And I'm like, girls, leave me alone, right? So I never actually attended that church. So this particular day, I think they kind of kept on constantly telling me to attend their church. I decided to give in, and I went to their church, and I enjoyed the church because it's different from my background. My background was very, very strict, and I was actually happy to be able to be in a background where I don't have to tie my hair, I don't have to not wear trousers, I don't have to. I was just happy, and one of the reasons I was able to actually be like that was because I didn't have the conviction in my heart that this thing was bad. So I didn't feel like, oh, not wearing trousers was bad. When I started to start wearing trousers, I didn't feel like, oh, I've committed sin. Oh, Jesus is angry with me. That was my personal conviction. And actually, that's very, very important because most times we just follow the crowd, just follow what we think is the norm. So I decided to follow these ladies to their church, and I really enjoyed the church, and I decided to keep on going there. So I no longer attended the church I grew up in because I wasn't really in line with most of their values, especially things like dressing. Mostly it was the dressing and the way it was I felt the judgmental, and I just didn't like the whole feeling of, okay, because one of the things I used to question was, okay, if you say all these things are bad, does that mean those going to heaven are people from just this church because they are perfect, right? So those things just made me feel like, okay, I don't want to be in an enclosed kind of Christianity. The way I said for this ladies to the church, and I really enjoyed the church, and I went back over and over again. And then I had a friend, right? My friend came to my hostel that day, and she was like, oh, I had a fellowship, oh, come with me. And I was like, hell no, I'm not going anywhere. But she kept insisting that she doesn't want to go alone. She'll feel so left out. I was like, okay, fine. I'm just gonna follow you, right? It's 2 hours, fine. What's the harm? So I followed her to this fellowship, and When I went there, everybody was praying. Everybody was praying and praying and praying and praying. And there were young people like me. I was like, what is going on? But immediately I came in there, the atmosphere in that place was so heavy that immediately getting there, I started praying and I was crying so much. I was crying so much. I was praying so much. And that's how I got filled with the Holy Spirit from that encounter, literally. So over the years, I would say that I have a good relationship with Jesus, but I can't say I'm like the very good Christian because sometimes I don't pray. Sometimes I find it difficult to sing. Like I'm just gonna sing in my head. I don't wanna open my mouth. It's more like my mouth is just closed and I'm just humming in my head, praying in my lips. But other times, actually over the years, because I see how these girls, right, that were in the same, that invited me to their church, how they were so on fire for Jesus. These girls were praying, they were prophesying, they were saying things. So I just felt like, oh gosh, I'm like the bottom Christian. And I felt like, okay, I was not a good Christian because I'm young, right? So I was like, okay, yeah, I'm just 18. Maybe that's why I'm not a good Christian. Oh, these girls are already 22, so that's why they're good Christians. And I felt like when I get old, I'll be a better Christian. I'll be able to pray. I'll be able to read my Bible. I'll be able to fast. I'll be able to do all these things that make me look like, that make me actually feel like, okay, yes, this is the epitome of Christianity. This is the child of God. I always felt I was a child of God, right? Yes, because I have very spiritual upbringing. And there's a way in which I do my things. I actually follow the Bible. I would call myself a good Christian, but I don't think I'm a good Christian enough. I don't know if that makes sense. Over the years, being a Christian has also made me have been able to God has revealed things to me through dreams. I've seen some things that's about to happen. The one that blew my mind, like there's so many honestly, but I just have to share this one. The one that blew my mind was I had, when I was in Nigeria, right? The one that blew my mind I got was my dad came back home a certain day and there was a job offer. He met this lady and the lady she just came from London or US, I don't know. She really wanted workers with her because her last workers they stole from her. So she wanted new hands in the office. She does this whole beautiful art stuff and I love art so much, right? So when I told me about the opportunity, I linked up with the lady, we spoke, we already planned everything. And before I could resume, I had a dream that I was supposed to take this job. The dream was in such a way that I had the feeling of someone using a plier to pluck out my teeth. And I don't know how. And it was like I should stay where I was and not move to this thing or else it feel like the plier plucking off my teeth. And I woke up with that feeling of my teeth being removed. I woke up and I was so scared. And I don't know, right now, maybe I can't really remember the scenario of that dream, but I knew that I just knew immediately that it meant I shouldn't take this job, right? So I just couldn't tell my dad, oh, daddy, I had a dream, I can't take this job. Oh, no, forget about it. I know you're trying to give me a job, but I don't want it. I couldn't tell my dad that, right? So and I was like, so I prayed to God and I said, God, please, this job, something should happen and then I shouldn't get it, right? Maybe the lady should just tell me not to get the job or something. Apparently, the lady called me and she was like, oh, do I want to resume now or do I want to take my time? Or she just gave me an option in which I could actually just stay back, right? And I was like, oh, I'll chill for now, since da 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 da. And then I did. And then 1 week later, we started talking, and I was like, and then she told me the salary price, and I was like, ooh, let me go get this job. I didn't forget about the dream, but I felt like maybe God had gotten over it. I don't know, that sounds weird, but exactly. So I went for this job, and guess what? She has this store in which she puts in, she has a gift shop in the art gallery, right? And in this her gift shop, she has lots of things, foreign brands, nice stuff, chocolate, candles, gift sets. She does all this wedding hospitality stuff for couples, for gifts, for Valentine. So I'm usually in that room taking care of everything, fixing it up when she moves stuff. Then this day she comes and she says, "Oh, did you take my chocolate?" And when she said that, I felt like dying. Literally, I felt like dying. My stomach came to my throat. I don't know. I've never been accused of theft. I've never thought of stealing someone's thing. So that felt like this most sick thing ever. My stomach came to my throat. I couldn't breathe. I sound saying this sounds very dramatic, but that was how I felt. I just went. I couldn't breathe. I had to sit down, talk to myself, calm myself down, tell myself that, oh, I didn't do that. Of course, I shouldn't worry about it. Then this other day, she has these bottles of water, and when she was with her friend, she was like, "Oh, make sure you take water. If you're coming to the office, there's water here." Da, 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 da. So I usually come to the office and I take the bottle of water. And then this day she comes and she said, "Did you take my water? How dare you drink my water? Make sure you bring your water from the house." I was like, "What the just water?" Okay, sorry, I just swore. Yeah, that's why I sound like a good Christian. I just swore, literally. I'm just trying to tell you how I've grown as a Christian, how God has revealed things to me, the ones I've obeyed, the ones I've disobeyed, the ones that's just been my journey to being a Christian. And I'm actually happy because I feel like I want to actually talk more and dive deep into my faith as a Christian. I don't think I'm the perfect Christian, but I think from my experience I can be able to say one or two things and possibly encourage someone as in line as I'm encouraging myself. So yeah, if you like this video, I want to see more of these videos, make sure you subscribe to my channel and I'll see you next week. Bye.